Listen, it's what they've deserved all season. We've spoken about it before the game in terms of the job that Frank has done and his staff. Excellent job too. After the recovery from last year, we've got to remember that they lost the playoffs in such a bad fashion in terms of the better team in both legs against Sunderland. Lost that last-minute Dan Ballard goal, and it was about bouncing back again this year. Frank's done that. He's added a couple of players to the group, but not too many, and they've gone and run away with it. And fair play, because again, the professionalism that they showed today to keep going to that last moment, and an excellent win against a side that's playing for their own battle this weekend. So yeah, really big win for them today.
9 of the starting 11 actually were here last season that started today, Jay. Does that show, I guess, the spirit that Frank Lampard's built? Because like you just said, they got close last year, but they've really been standout this year.
No, definitely, and Frank's identified players, he's brought the right players in that can fit into the squad with the quality, but with the harmony as well. I think you need, good players in the dressing room, players that are going to work for one another. He's brought them in. I like the signing on the Echo in the January transfer window. I think that was amazing. He brought that strength into that midfield area, winning balls back, making interceptions. I mean, all the players have done really well. They're the best scorers in the league. They're solid. It's great. It really is great for them.
Joe, it's a special moment for the families today as well, isn't it? We see this a lot at the end of seasons where all teams will come out with their children and family members, and Frank Lampard's family were above him every time they scored today. He was turning around and celebrating with them. This is a combination of not just the hard work of the players and the staff, but also their lives back home and the support that is needed there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably the biggest part of the game, that people at home that turn up on a Saturday or Tuesday don't see the sacrifice, and we do it willingly. It's a fantastic job, if you call it that, but it's a dream to be a professional footballer. And I think the ask of Frank Lampard would be, there are going to be times where we are going to be away from our families, your recovery days, sacrificing all the things that probably normal people get to do on a daily basis, but you do it for moments like this. There are many seasons where you don't get this reward at the end of it, but when you've got that momentum that they've had, it just builds and it builds and it builds, and that's why it's really nice to have these days where you do get to share it with those ones that have really had to live the highs and the lows, and when you lose a game, you're moping around the house, people not wanting to engage with you. And
I don't speak to my family when I get home.
Just on a normal day, Joe.
Yeah, but it's also about, you spoke about family. This group has become a family.
Yeah.
Like I say, 9 of that starting 11 today played last season. I'm guessing Frank brought that into the group, brought that family feel, and in terms of all leaning on others when they need it. Victor Torp summarises that up today. Scores the second goal, the goal that would have been the winner before Thomas Asante's. He's had to play second fiddle at times, but when he's needed, he's come into this team. He scored 9 goals, 6 assists, as really his proper role as a holding midfielder. So that's what's impressive about this side, is they've always lent on someone else to do the job, and they've always come up trumps, and they've been a fantastic group for one another.
I think when you have someone like Frank Lampard as a manager, though, he takes all the egos away from the squad just purely because of what he's achieved as a player. And when you look at the players today, some of them weren't happy to come off, but they're giving their teammate a pat on the back. Well done. They're coming on and they're doing their job as well. And that's what football's all about. It's a team game. You're in the Championship especially, with 46 league games and the cup games, it's so difficult on the body. You're going to have to use the whole squad.
Jay, Curtis has touched on Frank Lampard there and how he's managed, if there are any egos, he might have managed them. He managed you, so give us an insight into what he's like as a manager. We've spoken about it a few times this season, but when we were chatting to him, we were saying, look, he's never done this before. He's never gone this far before. Talk about what he's like and also how you think he's handled this.
Well, I think he's done brilliantly. I think initially when he came into Derby, it was his first job. We knew Frank Lampard the name, we didn't know Frank Lampard the manager. So he came in, he had a staff with Jonah, who's there with him, Chris Jones, and he had Jody Morris, who was his pitbull, shall we say. So Jody was the bad cop. Jody was an excellent coach as well, so he had a really good balance, and he worked his way into the job. And because I got injured, I ruptured my Achilles quite early in the season, I got to almost be beside him as his mate, rather than kind of the player that's playing for him. So got to know him, started to see how he developed through the season. And listen, that was a Derby side that ended up getting to a playoff final in his first season and lost to what was a stacked Villa side. And then, so when he eventually moves on and he's had the job since, people are questioning when he got the Coventry job, is he worthy of it? We sit here, we know the EFL. He's won one season in the EFL, he got his team to the playoffs.
It was a big job for him though, Curtis. I think off the back of the last couple, obviously Everton, how that ended, Chelsea going back in there was a risk attached to it. And I think that's why there were a few questions. So I think for him, I think that's why we've seen a little bit of that emotion, why it means so much to him, because he is a winner. He wants to succeed in management. We've seen so many of these top level players dip their toe in it, you know, maybe get burned. Do they want to go back? And like he has done in his playing career, he said, listen, I'm going to be a success. And I think the weight that has in the changing room is absolutely huge.
And that's important. You said he wants it. He wants this. Listen, I'm not going to delve into Frank's finances, but I'm sure he's doing okay for himself.
I think they're pretty healthy.
Yeah. But he's doing okay for himself. But some managers will jump at that next opportunity because maybe they need it. He's obviously looked at the Coventry job. He was sold the job. He thought of what Mark Robins had done before and everything that he'd done to lay the foundations. And he knew it would be a good job to go in there, implement his way, and maybe improve him. And that's what he's done ever since he's been here.
I spoke to him in January, I think when they played Birmingham, and they lost that game. And I was saying to him, how do you turn it around now with this squad? And he said simply, keep doing what we're doing. Work hard. We've got a bunch of lads here. We're going to add some more pieces, but keep it going. Again, they're scoring the goals. They needed to bring that little bit of toughness into midfield. Onyeka come in there. He's been fantastic. But again, Frank Lampard was one of the best midfielders the Premier League's ever seen. He can identify good players, top players, and I'm sure now they're going into the Premier League, they're going to identify some more players.